Hey guys, I just wanted to show you a quick progression of the UAV autopilot systems I've been flying for the last 5, 6, 7 years, going back to maybe 2011, 2012. Um, on the left here, the bigger board is, we are calling it the Avior Lite. It was based off of a Gumsticks Overo computer, 800 megahertz, paired with an autopilot. And the autopilot wasn't running the full autopilot, it was just running some basic firmware to collect the sensor data and give it over to the gum sticks. So that was the basic architecture of sort of a big architecture, little architecture. And the concept with this larger board was to try to put as much of all the components onto the board as possible, including, you can see the air data, the airspeed sensor there in the upper left. There's room to plug in a Futaba receiver, a PWM receiver. And then underneath, there's room to plug in a radio modem, and there's onboard power regulation. So, graduating from that design, moving over here to the middle, is the design that I've been flying for the last 3 or 4 years. I kept the Ardu pilot again, just to collect the sensor data, and then developed this custom cape, which is sandwiched in the middle, and then underneath is a Beaglebone Black. So the Beaglebone Black is 1,000 megahertz, I believe. Just a little bit more modern and capable, but very similar to the gum sticks. And I haven't looked at the gum sticks too much lately. Maybe they've caught up on some of the software side of things. But the nice thing about the Beaglebone is it gives you a real modern Debian Linux system to work with, and it's real easy to maintain. So I like that. So this is a system, again, that has been flying for the last few years. It's been working really well. But I wanted to keep moving forward with each version to try to make each one a little bit more compact, a little bit better, and maybe drop a connector or a wire whenever I can possibly figure out a way to do that. So over here is the design that I'm currently building up, and this has been built up and all the components have been tested. It's ready to go into an airplane. So you can see now I've gone from the full Beaglebone Black to something called a Pocket Beagle, which is smaller. Its width, sorry, the length of the Pocket Beagle is about the same as the width of the original Beaglebone. So it's smaller. And then next to it, I put a Teensy 3.2. So that replaces, in large part, the old big Ardu pilot that you really can only get from clone makers overseas. So now we've got this Teensy, which is pretty modern. It's got a lot more horsepower, and it's just a really nice processor. So that it's paired with a breakout board for the MPU 9250, which is in the upper left corner, which is the slightly purple board. Next to that is a 5-volt voltage regulator on board. The two resistors are just a simple voltage divider circuit so that I can sense the avionics board and monitor that. It's just a good to know thing when you're flying. I've got 8 PWM outputs, S-bus receiver input, and support for an external autopilot so that I can monitor external battery voltage and current, which is also a really nice thing to know when you're flying. So it's actually a pretty simple board. GPS and telemetry plug-in and the connectors in the lower part of the board, in the frame. There's a connector for external air data up by the MPU 9250. And that's really all you need to fly an airplane. So the whole intent of this is to be sort of a guts out, do it yourself, inexpensive. Everything you're seeing here probably can be built for easily under $100 with shipping. And then, of course, you got to add GPS, radio modem, and a few external things. But that's the same things you need with any autopilot system. So I just wanted to show a quick view. Actually, this is the version 2 of the board. And I already am up to version 2.2, which I'm planning to get from Oshpark, and the version 2.2 will shrink the board size down a little bit, rearrange some of the components, just to get a little bit better fit and a little bit better design. And honestly, in this version 2.0 board, I made a couple screw ups, and so version 2.2 fixes those as well. So that's what I got. Very similar, but incremental progressions over the years. Thank you.